Okay, so let's start the session. Hello, everyone. I welcome you all for another introductory IT session at GuruSchools. My name is Dave Garlikar, and I thank you for investing your time this beautiful evening towards an introductory session on Selenium QA automation testing. This is one of our popular technology training track. During the year, we conduct at least 6 training tracks on Selenium QA automation testing, which means at least 60 plus students we are training and placing every year only on Selenium QA automation. Reason being, it is easy to learn, which is the most important thing. It requires very minimal programming requirement. All it requires is open mind and willingness to learn. This is primarily, I would say, the prerequisites which helps you make 6-figure, right? Because of which, I guess we always have a good number of enrollment for this training track. Now, let me give you all a brief backdrop of GuruSchools. As the name suggests, it's a modern marketplace in the form of ancient guru. We strongly believe that education is one strength that once it comes to you, it stays with you forever. And by sharing, it only grows, right? So what we do, we bring this world-class information technology, knowledge education to the ambitious people such as yours, giving a good blend of theoretical and practical experience. For some of you who have prior taken experience in manual QA or some QA, this becomes a very strong foundation towards learning the QA automation. Okay, so basically, for those who have taken self-learning in QA or some QA, it's a good learning because you're upgrading or upskilling yourself to the QA automation. That's where the quality management is moving. Okay, so what we do? Well, we do the following. Number 1, training. So over the next 6 to 8 weeks, we will train you the entire life cycle of Selenium QA testing automation. Upon finishing the training, we will also help you towards having a reference-ready resume preparation. So our trainers and our recruiters will help you towards having a resume which has all the bells and the whistles and make you market ready. Then, along with the trainers and our recruiting team members, we will help you prepare for the vendor interview preparation, for the client interview coaching and client interview preparation. And once you secure the job, then we will give you ongoing project support. Because for many of you, this may be the first time you're entering in corporate America, and we shadow you in your initial days of your project. Okay. As an organization, 10% of our earning goes back to various community causes in the USA as well as in India. Along with the Selenium QA automation, some of the other popular or niche training tracks which we provide in no particular order are Cloud DevOps, Big Data, Python Data Science, Java Full Stack Microservices, .NET Full Stack, Robotics Process Automation, Business Analysis, Scrum, Project Management, visualization reporting tools like Tableau, Click, Power BI, Salesforce administration, Salesforce development, validation, quality management, and Oracle NetSuite ERP. Most of these skills are high in demand, and the corporate America consumes these technologies. Hence, there is a huge scope for each one of you if you chose to undergo the training. Okay, so most of these trainings are for about 6 to 8 weeks, running across weekdays and weekends, about 90 minutes per session. These training tracks will be free. If you're looking to work through GuruSchools or GuruSchool owned company, and at least work for a 3-month long project. Okay, it's our way of helping each one of you, as well as helping the corporate America by enabling people as a market ready IT talent. We have also invested in a training and a certifying agency, because of which, for those who are looking to get certified in their individual technologies, we can also help you towards preparing for the certification in terms of the questions and answers and question bank. And for many, it's an open book. So with the help of our trainers' help, you are able to get the required certification, which is like adding a feather in your hat. Okay. We work with many companies in Fortune 500, as well as we primarily work with all major Indian outsourcing companies and many American vendors towards full-time and a contract staffing needs. Okay. Along with that, many small, mid-sized clients like hotel, motel, restaurants, we manage their websites, some digital marketing, and some of these projects becomes our internal projects. These are difficult times. Over 20 million people lost a job because of COVID-19. So in light of this global recession and the pandemic, many of you are thinking of having a career, so that rather than having one income, it's always better to have two income in the household, so that God forbid something were to happen, the second person is also generating revenue. Okay, so we are doing our level best in terms of helping people towards generating employment, as well as helping corporate America towards reducing the unemployment. Okay, how are we unique? Well, unlike most of the training companies which are there to rob you, charge you some fees and then run away, we stay with you from A to Z. In a sense, apart from training to your resume preparation, vendor interviewing, client interviewing, and the ongoing project support. So until you are pro and can do things on your own, we stay with you and we shadow you. So the focus is not only giving a mere theoretical training, the focus is more towards creating and generating a career for each one of you. So it's a career guided, employment oriented IT training. Okay. I see many familiar faces here because some of you did attend our candidate counseling session. So some of this, it's a repetition for you. And I appreciate that you are interested, and that's where you're joining this introductory session. What do you expect? Well, consider this as a movie trailer. It gives you an overview level what you expect and what you'll be learning in the upcoming 6 and 8 weeks. This training is starting on 14th of December, meaning this coming Monday. Okay. For those who are still sitting on a bank and thinking to make a decision, if you want to have a career, then I suggest you go through the experience. It is free because, if you were to work through us, it will not cost you a penny. Training at GuruSchools.com, that's the email address. Some of you are also part of our GuruSchools WhatsApp group, and whom to contact in terms of your point of contact and HR contact, so reach out to them. And for today's introductory session, the subject matter experts or the trainers are Chavi and Anand. Both of them have 10 plus years of experience working in IT industry. Chavi has 10 plus years. I don't want to date Anand's experience. Anand has more than 20 years of experience. They have lived in India, they have lived in USA, some other continents for work. So they have a global experience, and they have real-time experience. So it's not only theory, they will be applying their real-time global experience towards providing this training. So without doing any further ado, I welcome Chavi and Anand for today's introductory session. Thank you.
Thanks, Dev, for the introduction. Hi all, how are you doing?
Good.
Yeah, okay. So this is about the GuruSchools Selenium QA automation, wherein we will be talking about the week 1 to week 5, and then there is another one which is just cropping up. Week 6 will be real-time project. So basically what we are going to touch upon is week 1 we will be briefing you on how to do about manual testing concepts and Java essentials for Selenium. That's the prerequisite. So one of the programming language what we are going to train you is Java, which is essential to script on Selenium automation, and core Java, the basics of core Java will be taught on week 1. So week 2 we have different components in Selenium, that is IDE, Selenium IDE, WebDriver introduction. It's an advanced over IDE, and there is a remote control also which is deprecated, which is not being used. And how do we launch the application which we are going to test on a real-time projects? That's very important. And how do we inspect the elements or objects on the application? These are all part of week 2. And week 3, coming to week 3, we will be handling the multiple windows, frames, alert boxes, and so on. So there are techniques involved to identify the web elements using XPath, CSS selectors, and so on. So that is at week 3. And coming to week 4, the advanced concepts of Selenium when it comes to framework designing, we use TestNG, which is nothing but test next generation. We will be teaching you all the concepts in depth when we move on to week by week. And the Selenium framework design and development, it could be keyword driven, data driven, and a combination of keyword and data driven concepts, which is nothing but hybrid framework. And also we will explain how to automate the manual test cases. So that will be an ongoing process, not just in week 4. That will be an ongoing process from week 1 itself, but in a smaller scale. So as we move on from week to week, the emphasis will be on automating the test cases, which will fall under week 4. And how do we validate the way, which is nothing but verification. That's important thing, right? So when it comes to actual versus expected result, the comparison, the validations will play an important role. And the effort estimation which is required, that can be taught, or that can be that will come with experience. And customizing the reports, how do we generate the reports at the end of the automated scripts at week 4 using TestNG reports. And we also teach you in week 5 the database testing, how do we connect, and how do we read and write the data using Excel, Microsoft Excel, and how do we connect to these Excel files or to the database from Selenium point of view will be taught. And Auto IT is used for desktop application, which may not be significant at this point of time. We'll just it is not required. Basically, Selenium is used for web-based automation purpose. So Auto IT is desktop, which is not in the scope. That's okay. We will update the slide. And coming to Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid is for parallel execution. Suppose our scope of testing is to test on different browsers, let's say Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Mac, right, Safari. We can distribute the execution on different clients. That can be done using Selenium Grid, will be taught as part of the concepts in Selenium Grid. And most importantly, Maven and Jenkins. Maven is a build management tool wherein it will have lot of advantages, and it is used, Maven project is used to create, to execute all the test cases within a Selenium scope. And we use the editor called Eclipse editor. There are so many editors available in the market. Eclipse is available for free, and IntelliJ, Java Beans, so many editors are available, but we focus mainly on Eclipse, and we can download all the required libraries from Eclipse through, if all we need to have is internet connection. And Jenkins, it's a continuous integration and continuous development tool. Whenever we change the scripts, whenever we automate the scripts, we need to test on different builds, right? The developers are going to develop a new feature, are going to fix the bugs, and what we have to do, we have to retest, being a QA engineers, right? So first we do the manual testing. That is the reason why we are teaching you the manual testing concepts on week 1. And once the manual testing is done, once we certify, the QA certifies it is stable, it is working as expected, then the scope of automation will begin. So that is when we automate the manual test cases. Once we write the manual test cases throughout the process of 4 to 5 weeks, what we have to do, we have to store all our scripts in a Jenkins, and from GitHub, and from GitHub the Jenkins will pick up the build and it will run the automated suite, and we get the results for analysis. So when we say results, it could be either pass or fail. So we need to analyze the pass as well as the fail, not just the fail once. We need to emphasize, we need to give it a try why it has been failed. Is it because of script issues, or is it because of the application issue? The fail test cases have to be analyzed, and we need to fix the fail test cases accordingly, else we need to raise a bug. So that is the simple automation process from week 1 to week 5. And GitHub is an important repository where we store all our scripts, and if we want to modify, we can modify the scripts, and it will be like a centralized repository wherein if whoever has the access can get the access to those scripts and we can use it. It's a centralized repository. So all these concepts will be taught from week 1 to week 5, and it is cropping week 6. I will explain as it is. And week 6 we will be, as Dev sir told, we will be making you prepared for the mock interviews, resume preparation, and so on, project point of view, and so on. How do we speak when it comes to client interviews or to the HR teams? We basically explain you the interpersonal skills, the technical concepts, the mock interviews, resume preparation will be an important, we'll be emphasizing on those things as part of week 6, which is not displayed here for some reason. We'll just see to it. So that is at the high level from week 1 to week 6. So any questions? Okay. So now this is about the instructors. This is Anand. This is about me, myself. As they sir told, I have close to 20 years of experience in IT industry, experienced in various capacities, served in multinational as well as service-based companies across Wipro, Sun Microsystems. Now it is part of Oracle, EMC, Adobe, Cisco, and so on. And my passion is to train the budding engineers who are aspiring to transform their career from those who are new to testing we will transform you from manual testing to automation, or if you want to upgrade your manual testing to automation area also, we will be helping you out in upgrading your skills. And I am a consultant as well. So I am based out from Bangalore, India, and that's about myself. Over to Chavi. Thank you.
Thanks, Anand. Yeah, thanks, Anand. It was very good introduction and a brief about our course. So, hi everyone. This is Chavi Sharma. And about myself, I work as a trainer in GuruSchool from past 1 year. Before that, I have 10 years of IT experience. I worked as a automation tester and manual tester in different domains like banking and finance, telecommunication and e-commerce. I worked as a automation tester in different companies like Tech Mahindra, Wipro, Mindtree, and worked in different projects over there. So we are here to give you a quick overview of full course of Selenium and what Selenium serves you in a very brief manner. So why everyone is talking about Selenium? As Selenium is an automation tool, and now this comes in our mind that why automation and not manual? So there are some challenges or limitations of manual testing which can be overcome by automation. So challenges can always overcome by inventing something new. So let us see how automation can beat manual testing. Yes, thanks Anand for shifting it to this slide. Manual testing mainly involves the physical execution. No, just be in that slide only. I will explain that slide only, the previous one.
Okay.
So manual testing mainly involves the physical execution of test cases against various applications to detect bugs and errors in your product. So it is one of the primitive method of testing a software. Earlier, we only know the manual testing, the execution of test cases without using the automation tool. Okay. It does not require the knowledge of testing tool. Also, you can test any application since you are doing this manually. So let's take an example. Suppose you want to test some application, say some Facebook application, and if you go to Facebook application, you have some fields like some fields like first name, second name, as we all know about the Facebook application. So what a tester will do if it go to some site, what they will do, they will write few test cases and for each of the functionality in that page. So and for that excuse me, so you will write multiple data to those test fields, say first name, surname, mobile number, new password, and etc. So and you write multiple test cases for that particular page. Okay. Also, there are other elements present like radio button, drop down, and so on. Literally, you can do any type of testing manually. Once you are ready with hundreds of your test cases, you will start executing these test cases one by one, and you will find bugs, and you will give those bugs to your developer, and developer are going to fix those bugs, and then you need to rerun all those test cases until you get you fix all the bugs and your application are ready to ship to the client. So if one has to execute hundreds of transactions and data sets and repeat them, can you imagine the amount of efforts required in that? So now that brings us the first demerit of manual testing. The first demerit is it is extremely time consuming. Manual testing is extremely time consuming process and it is highly error prone. Why? Because it is done manually and human mistakes are bound to happen. Since it's a manual execution, tester presence is required all the time, and one needs to be keep doing manual step by step again all the time. So this is the second demerit, that tester has to be present there all the time. Okay, so he needs to create manual reports, group them, format them, so that we get good looking reports. Also send these reports manually to all the stakeholders. Then collection of logs from various machines where you can run your reports, consolidate all of them, create repository and maintain them. And again, since it is a manual process, it is high chances of creating a manual error. So scope of manual testing is very limited. For example, if you are doing regression testing, ideally we should run all the test cases for regression testing which you have written. But since this is a manual process, you would not have that luxury of time to execute all of them, and since you will pick and choose your test cases to execute that, right? So that's why you are limiting the scope of the testing which are required for your project. So impractically, so manual testing is impractically which could be needed for your application. And on the top of it, if say you have working on the agile module where code is being churned out by developer, tester are building test cases and executing as and when they are available for testing, and this happen iteratively, hence you need to run these test cases multiple times during your development cycle. By doing this manually, it is definitely become very tedious and boring. And is this the effective way of doing it? Not at all. So what we will do, we will automate it. So here comes the automation process. And why we automate it? For faster execution and to be less error proof. The main reason is to help frequent execution of test cases. So there are many tools available in the market today for automation. One such tool is Selenium, and other tools are like UFT, RFT. So how does Selenium help us? We saw many demerits of manual testing. So we can say that automation of test cases help in speedy execution of test cases. Since manual testing is avoided, the results are more accurate. So no human errors since your test cases are automated. Human resources are required to execute automation test cases far less than manual testing. Because of that, there are less investment in human resources. It saves time, and time is money. So it is cost effective also. So Selenium is an open source and it is available free of cost. So this also makes it cost effective. Okay. So early time to market. Since you have saved your efforts and time, your client will be merrier as you would be able to ship your product pretty fast. So that is why it's early time to market for them. It supports retesting. Okay. Lastly, this is your test case. Lastly, since your test cases are automated, you can rerun them any point of time and as many times as required. So if this tool offers you so many benefits, we definitely want to know more detail about what Selenium is. Selenium is, Anand, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, thank you. So Selenium enables us to test web application on all kinds of browsers like Internet Explorer, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, Edge, Opera, and many more. As I told you, Selenium is an open source and it is a platform independent. The bigger reason why people are preferring these tools is because it is free of cost, and QTP and RFT, which I have mentioned earlier, are chargeable. So Selenium is a set of tools and libraries that facilitate the automation of web application. As I said, it is not a single tool, it is multiple components, and these components are Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, RC is Selenium Remote Control, WebDriver, Selenium Grid. And all these tools together help us to test web applications. You can run Selenium script on any platform, as it is platform independent. Why? Because it is primarily developed in JavaScript. So it is very common for manual tester not to have in-depth knowledge of any tool. So knowledge of Selenium has they don't have the Selenium knowledge. So Selenium provided this record and replay back tool, which is called a Selenium IDE, which can be used to create a set of actions as a script, and you can replay the script back. However, this is mainly used for demo purpose only, because Selenium is such a powerful tool that you should be able to take full advantage of all these features. So Selenium provides support of different programming languages such as Java, Python, C#, Ruby. So you can write your test script in any language you like. One need to know about the in-depth knowledge of these languages. Also, Selenium supports different systems. It's a system independent also, like Windows. It can work, you can run your script in Windows, Linux. So it's platform independent. You can choose your platform as per your requirement. So that's why Selenium is most popular and widely used automation tool for automating your web application. So let us go deeper into it in our next slide. As I said, Selenium is not a single tool. It's a suite of tools. Anand, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, thanks. So as I said, it is not a single tool, it is a suite of tools. So let's take a look of some of the major components or the tools in Selenium. Can you click one more time so that ID will be visible? Yeah, the Selenium suite is now visible as a diagram. So as we discussed, Selenium has 4 major components. Selenium IDE. IDE is the most easy, simplest tool in the suite of Selenium. It is integrated development environment. Earlier, Selenium IDE is only available as Firefox plugin, but now it is available in Chrome also, and it is offered a simple record and replay back functionality. It is very simple tool to use, but it is mainly used for prototyping and not used for automation in real-time project, because it has its own limitations, and like any other record and replay tool, it also has some limitations that we will learn in depth when we go to our real course. Selenium RC is nothing but Selenium Remote Control. It is used to write web application test cases in various programming languages. What it does is, it basically interacts with the browser with the help of RC server. And how it interacts is, it uses the simple HTTP post and get request for communication. It is also called as Selenium 1.0 version. But it is got deprecated on Selenium 2.0 version and completely removed in Selenium 3. And WebDriver has replaced the Selenium RC. as we will learn this in detail in our course and how it happens. I will just give you the brief about this, that Selenium WebDriver is the most important component in Selenium suite. It is a programming interface to create and execute test cases. It is obviously the successor of Selenium RC, which we already talked about because of certain drawback which RC had. So what the major difference in RC and WebDriver? This is also very important question which we will discuss in detail in our course. Just to give you a brief, that architecture of WebDriver is much simpler than RC for the reason WebDriver interact with the web browser directly, unlike RC. RC required a server to interact with the web browser, whereas the RC required a server to interact with the web browser, whereas the WebDriver interact directly with the web browser. Okay, so this is the major difference, but there are so many differences also. We will learn this in our course. And the last component is Selenium Grid. So Selenium Grid is used to run multiple test script on multiple machines at the same time. So it helps you to achieve parallel execution. Since the Selenium WebDriver you do only in a sequential execution. So here Grid comes into picture. If you wanted to do parallel execution, Grid will come into picture where you can do parallel execution. And why parallel execution is important? Because in real-time environment, you always have to need of running test cases in distributed environment, and that's what helps the Selenium Grid to achieve that goal. So all these together help us to create a robust application test automation, and we will go in detail about all these components in detail during our course. Okay, so I will show you in like a brief way of week-wise structure of our course, in which day 1 we will brush up your manual concepts which is required for automation, like which is required for your brief introduction is always required for automation, that how basic concepts of software testing life cycle is, how to create your test plan. So this is all common things which is required for automation testing also. How to create test case, how to prepare test cases. Like manually, if you have created your test cases, it will be more easier for you to understand all the pre-condition and post-condition of your test cases, which will help you to write your test scripts when you are doing the automation. It is required to have a knowledge of software testing techniques like boundary value analysis, BVA, equivalence partitioning, and state transitions. So these knowledge are required. So we will go in detail and learn all about this bug life cycle, how to create bug reports, test management, simple sample of templates of test plan, test cases, and also about the software testing life cycle, and all the important interview questions that could be asked about your functional testing, like what is the difference between smoke testing and sanity testing, and all these questions will be given to you on this day. Okay, so now talking about day 2, here we will give you about the concept of core Java and OOPS concepts, like installing of how to install Java, how to install Eclipse, write your first Eclipse project. We will go slowly, and then we will give you the concept of class, files, data types in Java, string, class, and functions, all the concepts of loops, arrays, single array, dimensional array, two-dimensional array, practical usage of array in Selenium. What are functions and methods are same. So how to create different methods, what are their parameters, how you can pass the parameters in your methods, and what's the return type of that. Also object oriented programming like inheritance, encapsulation, abstraction, polymorphism, these are all OOPS concepts. Okay, so we will learn about that. What are local variables? Like if you have defined a variable inside the method, that is local variable. If you have defined your variable in the class, that will become global variable. So that we will learn in detail about the static and non-static variables, static methods, non-static methods, how to create your objects in Java, references, what is call by reference, call by value, method overloading, method overriding. All these things we will learn in day 2, and also we will give you the important interview questions which can become in which frequently asked by the interviewers, and also about the access modifier. This is a very important interview question, that what is access modifier, public, private, what's the difference between public access modifier, private access modifier, default, protected. So all these things we will learn in detail in day 2. In day 3, Selenium WebDriver basics. So I'll take this as a very in day 3 we will take a very basic concept about WebDriver, as we will do it in detail in our next weeks. So introduction about WebDriver and comparison with Selenium RC, which I have just told you in a very brief manner. We will do it in detail. How to install Selenium WebDriver, what is the architecture of Selenium WebDriver, creating your first script in the WebDriver, what are different locators. This is a very important topic, like what are different locators and how you can help them, how you can help in achieving your web element from the web page. So these are all things we will cover in day 3, how to handle error and exceptional handling. So this is also very important interview question, exceptional handling. So yeah, these all things we will cover in week 1. So I will tell Anand to go with the week 2 and tell you all about the what all things we will cover in week 2 and rest of the week. So over to you, Anand.
Yeah, thanks, Chavi. That was very good introduction. Before I kickstart week 2, Mona Lisa, Soumya, Varsha, and so on, whoever is there in this group, how many of you are from the testing background, or how many of you are new to testing?
Myself, Varsha. I'm from testing background.
Okay. Can you brief about yourself so that I will get an idea? And
yeah, currently I'm working with Mindtree as a test lead.
Mindtree.
Yes. The project is in Meredith, is a client.
Okay.
But I'm handling the manual testing project. But for that I used to work a few years back some of the automation tools like Chavi said, like QTP I worked, and the Selenium I worked for like around 1 year. But after that I got a little gap because of manual testing projects most of the time handling. So this today's session is like kind of brush up for me.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
So
that's nice. Thank you, Varsha. What about Mona Lisa and Soumya? They have messaged. They have put it in the chat. That's good. But I would like to hear from you guys. Why don't you speak up? I got what your background in the chat. That's good. You want to add anything, Soumya and Mona Lisa? I know you have briefly told about yourself, worked in India for 4 years, and now a kind of a fresher, as Soumya stated. And and Mona Lisa says she's not from the technical or IT background. That's okay. Yeah, please.
Yeah, hey, this is Mona Lisa here. I am from a non-IT background, so I have worked in different field with non-IT.
Okay, so that's cool. And okay, fine. So Soumya?
Yes, I worked in India and I stopped working for about 8 years and now I'm stuck here. But I basically am a freelance tester. I work for like small scale applications here for small scale companies who
That's nice.
try to test these single page applications or standalone applications for their companies desktop
Yeah.
applications. Yeah,
Okay.
so that is kind of thing.
That's
I mean I'm not I wouldn't say that I'm well versed or thorough with manual testing, but yes, I do know basic concepts,
that's pretty
but
good.
I never worked in
Okay, nice to know your background. This helps us actually how much we need to
Thank
talk
you.
actually. Okay, wish you good luck. And you
Thank
have any
you.
questions so far on the introduction of manual testing, automation? Wow, what is this course about? Before I proceed from week 2 onwards, you have any questions? Any of you? We will try to answer. So I want to make it more interactive.
Absolutely. I mean, so far so good. I have understood whatever Chabi has said or spoke about the basic tool and how the manual testing goes and how it runs. Apart from that, I'm looking forward for more information.
Sure. What about Mona Lisa, Varsha? Are we good? Shall I proceed from week 2?
Yeah, I feel it is good.
Yeah, for me, since I don't have any experience, so everything is new for me. So, but I was just wondering, are we going to just the first week will be enough for manual testing? Are we going to do any manual testing on that, or it's just for the theoretical part we're going to cover?
Okay, good question. So, since you are from the non-IT background, you don't have a prior testing background. So we will teach you in-depth concepts also personally, and also we will share you the recorded video sessions to clarify all your doubts. I have in fact manual testing course videos which I have created for the previous batches, and what we will do is once you sign up for this course, we will train you whatever is required to gear up for the manual testing. Right.
Okay. And since since I'm from non-IT, I believe Selenium is like it needs basic Java coding knowledge and everything, which I don't have. So I was just wondering for the Java thing, how that training will be, the basic core Java will how that training will happen.
Sure. So we will emphasize depending on the people who have signed up. We will get into the core Java concepts along with the recordings and also exercises. So we will help you out in making you comfort in core Java and OOPS concepts, which is very much required for Selenium to get into Selenium. So we will first emphasize and explain in detail with practically on core Java and OOPS concepts, object-oriented programming concepts. So we have the couple of recordings which I have already done it for the couple of batches in India, and once you sign up, we will brief you as part of day 1, day 2, day 3. If that is not sufficient, we will train you personally, and we will share you the recordings of our recordings and we can touch base one-on-one or in the sessions. Any clarifications on each and every day topic, core Java, be it OOPS concepts, we will clarify you, including manual testing.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, any other question?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So, let's get started on week 2. So, introduction to Selenium IDE, fine. It's a initially when Selenium has evolved over a period of time from 2004 from Jason Higgins, and they have started to test some application. So they got bored of doing the manual testing, and that's how the integrated development environment IDE record and playback concept has evolved from Jason Higgins and from ThoughtWorks. So how they have done is, they initially, as Chavi told, it was a plugin for Firefox. Now they have enhanced it to support Chrome browser also. It's very simple to use. How do we install the plugin, record the application which we need to test on a browser, and playback with minor changes. But it doesn't give the flexibility. If at all we want to change something, it doesn't have the flexibility, but it can be used for a basic automation of basic scenarios or test cases, IDE. That is at day 1 of week 2. And coming to the WebDriver, which is most widely used, and in between IDE and WebDriver there was an RC, right? That's what we were discussing with the picture. So RC is a remote control where we need a lot of setup, a server to talk to the browser and so on, which is not being used anymore now. Not many people are using because of its own limitations and challenges, and WebDriver is actually fulfilling that requirement. So it is advanced version of the RC, and it has overcome the challenges what we have faced in remote control. The WebDriver will talk directly to the browser, and all the results will be given to the client. Client means to us, whoever is using Selenium. So WebDriver is a advanced portion of Selenium, which we will be talking mostly into this particular sessions. So that is very important. And whenever we are launching the AUT, means application under test, we have to identify each and every object, which is nothing but an element, set of element. It can be text box, or it can be radio button, text box, radio button, or be it anything, drop down boxes, submit buttons, alerts, pop-ups, frames, and so on, windows, right? So how are we going to, we need to inspect, means we need to identify the properties of the web elements, right? So which is used as part of locator techniques. There is something called locator techniques in Selenium. We using the locator techniques, we are going to identify these objects which I have told just now, and we need to write a line of code to identify the object and to perform the action. And that's how we slowly develop the automation scripts using Selenium. So that is at day 3, and there are so many things. Let's not even emphasize on day 1, day 2, day 3, but the concepts of learning on identifying the objects, how do we automate the test scenarios, how do we generate the HTML tables or reports, and how do we analyze the results, pass or fail, and along with that we will be generating the reports for sharing to the management. That is important, right? What we are doing has to be showcased to the management as part of automation scripts. So now automating the keyboards and mouse events is also important thing, not just clicking or anything, right? So there will be keyboard and mouse movement actions also, which we can discuss on day 3 as using actions class. There are Selenium is all about object oriented concepts, right? So Java has its own inbuilt classes and methods, Similarly, Selenium also has couple of classes and methods. So actions class, we can handle the keyboard and mouse mouse over movements, and how do we drag and drop, mouse over, right click, and so on. So all these concepts will be discussed as part of day 3. Coming to week 4, there will be a couple of synchronization issues, meaning application may be faster and the script may be slower, or the scripts may be a little faster compared to the applications at times. So how do we synchronize the speed of the application with our Selenium scripts will play an important role when it comes to synchronization. So we'll have to synchronize or control the speed of the application, or we have to control the speed of the automation scripts that we are going to develop. So that can be achieved using synchronization, and there are different types of synchronization: implicit wait, explicit wait, fluent wait. All this we shall learn as part of day 1 in week 4. Coming to day 2, what is TestNG? TestNG stands for Test Next Generation, and it is one of the frameworks used in Selenium for grouping, prioritizing the test cases, and it will give a very beautiful report when we run after running all the test cases, and using those reports we can analyze why it has been passed or failed. Passed means we generally don't scratch our head, right? So we have to give more importance for the failed test cases. So those things can be analyzed using the reports generated by TestNG. And how do we run the TestNG? There are more concepts in TestNG when it comes to execution, grouping, prioritizing. There are so many annotations involved, and reports, and there will be XMLs also. How do we leverage and use XMLs, and so on. So these things we can use in we will learn in day 2 as well as day 3 in week 4. TestNG is a very good advanced framework used in Selenium. So that is all about week 4. Coming to week 5, most importantly, we need to read and write the data, right? We play with the data when it comes to testing, right? So forget about Selenium for a moment. Whenever we test the application, we play with valid as well as invalid user credentials, right? Whenever we want to log in to an application, be it any application, Google, Facebook, or Amazon, anything, Salesforce. So we have to provide a valid credentials. Only upon giving the valid credentials, it will allow us to log in and take us to the home page and do all the transactions, whatever is required, and do the workflows, and then log out. So if at all a user provides an invalid data, it will not allow us to log in because the data, the credentials are invalid. So playing with valid and invalid data is important. Hence, we will be touching upon how do we read, write the data using Excel or using any database, any one of the database. It could be MySQL or it could be SQL Server, anything. So how do we connect from Selenium or from Java to the database and fetch the data? Fetching means reading the data. And as I said, Excel is a poor man's data. So the concept will remain the same if we learn any one data. It could be Excel or it could be MySQL or SQL Server, any of these, which we'll be covering as part of day 1 in week 5. So in day 2 of week 5, which we are talking about grid. What is grid? It is used for parallel execution. We suppose, let's say we have hundreds of test cases, and to execute all the 100 test cases in a serial way, that is one by one, probably it takes 2 hours or 3 hours maybe. But the management says we need the reports or the results in 1 or 1.5 hours or faster. So the grid concepts will help us to reduce the effort in execution. So because it is parallel in nature, we are distributing the execution of the test cases to different nodes. What is hub, what is node, we will be explaining you when it comes to day 2, so that we are actually drastically reducing the execution effort by hours, so many hours, depending upon the volume. And Maven on day 3. What is Maven? It's a intelligent project management framework. It's a project management framework where we can create the Maven project and we can leverage all the features. There are so many features. If I tell, for example, pom.xml, which is stated as third bullet point, project object model. So what we are doing, we need to do import couple of libraries which is required for our Java project, right? So all these things we can include the dependencies in pom.xml, so that we are actually automating so many things using Maven. That means we are including the dependencies which is required for our project, and it does download all the dependencies automatically once we include the dependency tags in pom.xml, and we are ready to start the automation. So most of our work will be reduced drastically if we use Maven. Plus, we can include other XML files in pom.xml so that we can execute the pom.xml for analyzing the results once the execution is complete. We can automate all the test cases and keep it in Maven, and from pom.xml we can execute all our test cases and we can analyze the results. That is the advantage of having Maven. It's a build and project management tool. Okay. And another, moving to week 6. Okay. Here, okay. So we have different frameworks here on day 1 and day 2. Okay. So just before coming to week 6, in week 5 also, after Maven, we will be talking about Jenkins. How do we integrate Jenkins with Maven? So what is Jenkins? It's a continuous integration and continuous development tool. A Maven will be integrated into Jenkins. So whenever we get a new build to test the new feature or a bug fixes, it will pick the scripts and it will run on the new build, so that our automated scripts will see to it the tests that are run on the new build is really not affecting, or whether it is affecting. Because of the new introduction of the new features or the bug fixes given by the developers, we are automating and running the test cases, right? So those results, whether it will have a negative impact or a positive impact, that we'll have to do retesting. So when we do the retesting on the new build given by the development team, we will get to know whether the build has really solved the problem of the previous issues. Issues means bugs, right? So we had to do a lot of retesting, which is nothing but regression. We have to test the new features introduced as per the requirement by the development team, so on. So we have to keep on repeatedly doing the testing as and when we get the new build, which Maven and Jenkins will do together. So that we will be covering in week 5. Moving to week 6, automation testing framework. So what is a framework? Framework is a set of standards. So we have an approach towards data-driven framework, keyword-driven framework, and a hybrid-driven framework. So we will be discussing what is hybrid, what is data-driven, keyword-driven, how do we enhance that, how do we use that theoretically, and also to practically we can demonstrate on the data-driven testing part of it. And customizing the report, extent report. So there are different ways of interpreting the results, right, using the reports. We will be talking about how do we customize the reports, what are the different ways of generating the report, and so on as part of day 1 in week 6. So loggers in day 2. So what is logging? Log4j. It is used for logging problems. Like if at all we have some issues, we can use these loggers log4j, and we can print whether it is a issue or not for detailed explanation, so that the execution team, the testing team, will get to know the details of loggers, and we can discuss all these concepts in week 6. And important thing is live project on Selenium framework design and development. So not just in day 3 of week 6, throughout the program from week 1 to week 6, we will be demonstrating on the live examples of different projects like Rediff.com, BeatSpice.com, Facebook.com. It could be HRMS websites which we will be demonstrating, and so on. All the live public websites we can do it, so that we will be learning effectively, practically, how we can face the challenges and how do we overcome the challenges. Right from week 1 to week 6, we will be learning on live projects. When it comes to Java and OOPS concepts, we will be talking and we will be demonstrating how do we with examples, with different exercises. So once the Java concept is done, we will be switching over to sample applications, which is be it Google, Rediff or anything. So all the applications that we will be using from while learning Selenium, we will be demonstrating everything on the live project, so that we will get a good exposure and practically how do we solve the issues. So that is very important. And last but not the least, very important, resume preparation. At the end of your training in the week 6, we will be helping you out on how do we prepare resume, so that a recruiter will shortlist your resume. So it should be appealing, what keywords should be included, how much we need to mention in your resume. It should not be too short or it should not be too long, and it should have the appropriate keywords, and the testing projects or the concepts or the keywords should be included in the resume, so that when you publish it to the client or whenever you publish in the job portals, it should get shortlisted. Resume preparation is important, and how do we prepare and present it is very important. And interview preparation, there will be for each and every topic, will help you to prepare for the interview on those particular topics, so that usually when it comes to interview, there will be set of standard questions. Unless you have worked, you will not be able to give practically answers in a convincing way, right? So we need to work, we need to practice a lot. Along with that, we need to practically orally discuss also few things related to each and every topic. So the concepts in each and every topic is important to know, and we need to practice. That's how our confidence level will improve day by day, and we will be sharing you for each and every topic the most frequently asked questions on those topics, so that whenever you face the interview at the week 6, after week 6, you will be walking in and you will be facing to the customer or to the client or to the technical team confidently, once you prepare well and practice well. And on the project support, once you get into a project at a client side, so we will be helping you. Initially you may need some help. That support, project support, on the project support, we will be helping you on how do we create, if at all you are facing some challenges when you kickstart your career into a real-time project in a company. The project support also we will be giving you and guiding, because with our experience, we are confident that we can support you for a couple of weeks or so. So as that's about the week 1 to week 6 schedule on automation and manual testing. And we have given enough data and information why we use Selenium. It is free and it is most widely used. and it has a lot of documentation and a lot of forums are there to help. So a return on investment point of view, it is very good when it comes to automation of test cases, and most importantly, it is easy to learn and it is platform independent, and we can learn. The Selenium supports in multiple programming languages, as Chavi stated. It supports in Java, it supports Ruby, C#, Python, and so on. But we need to master any one programming languages, right? Out of all the 4 or 5, we need to master one. In our course, in our training track, we will be teaching you the Java concepts so that Java can be used as part of scripting in Selenium. So that is it, guys, from our side. We are opening this forum for the question and answer session. Any questions?
Thank you, Anand. I have one question. This is Varsha.
Yeah,
the
Varsha.
question is really good, and it's like basic things like what you guys going to cover in this training process. My question is the Guru School is in USA. If there is any office in its location?
Yes, I'll answer that question, Varsha. So we are based out of New Jersey. GuruSchools also owns a few staffing companies. We have San Vista and DataBoss. All of them are registered in the state of New Jersey. So we are primarily, GuruSchool focuses more on the training in some offshore projects, whereas San Vista and DataBoss, these are primarily consulting companies. So they plug and play full-time and a contract placements.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, again, thanks Anand, thanks Chavi. So this is Dev back again. As I said, the intent is not merely a theoretical training. There are dime a dozen videos you'll find on YouTube. If that's were that easy, anyone can do self-learning, can get a job. It is how to get a job, right? Because we are preferred vendor with most of the Indian outsourcing companies, the American vendors, and some of our own clients. It is always an ongoing opportunity. With COVID-19 pandemic, it's basically a boon for those who are looking to get into IT, and especially for ladies who otherwise have had some constraint in terms of location, travel, and other things in light of household commitments. Because now everything is remote. So you're pretty much in your comfort zone of your home and working, right? And with the help of trainers, you will never be left out because they will always be shadowing you. And that's where it's actually a golden opportunity, right? It doesn't happen that often that we get such kind of a pandemic. So if I would be you, for those who are seeking in and seeking an opportunity, should give it a shot, right? You have nothing to lose. As I said, when you look back in 2021, you will find it's a worth investment of time. Anyway, it's in November, December time. It's all about holidaying and partying and chilling out. So, in light of Q4, sharpening the X is more important than chopping the tree. So using that principle, invest your time in knowledge and learning. And the trainers are there to help you and support you in every junction of your career. Okay, and then majority of it is all mundane tasks, right? Practice makes you perfect. Nobody learns in mother's womb. So as I said, if you are focused in having your own career, if you have that open mind and willingness to learn, then the word impossible will state I am possible. So any other questions you may have pertaining to a training track or any other ancillary information, please feel free to ask us now. For those who missed out the session, this is all going to be a recorded session. So hopefully by tomorrow, we will post this video on our YouTube page, Facebook page, LinkedIn page, so that some of you, if you want to refer it, can refer it also.
Thank you, Dev. Sure.
Any other questions, anyone? No question? Okay.
No, I don't have any questions. All good.
So thank you all again for your time. I know it's kind of getting late, so those who attended, we sincerely appreciate your time. Thanks, Chavi. Thanks, Anand.